Demonic spirits almost always come as helpers. Yeah. They want to help us out. But they're really kicking us while we're down. But they don't say it that way. See, if somebody's really controlling and you feel rejected around them because they don't believe you can do squat and make your own decision or anything, so you go into this rejection cycle, the devil also wants you to rebel against them. And he's trying to set this stronghold up where you judge them for being controlling, then you reject them for controlling you and rejecting you, and then you rebel against them. This happens in our families. In case you haven't recognized it, I'll point that out. Happens all the time in families. Somebody's controlling. Half the crowd rebels against them. The other half feels rejected. Then we try to control them back. Then they feel rejected or they rebel against us, and round this thing goes. Every once in a while I see it coming. And I go, ha. I don't have to bite this hook. I can stay out of this loop. Another one that he likes to do started in the garden. One thing about the devil, there's not much original about him. God is the creator. And in the garden, they were tempted to believe that God was holding out on them. And so he's saying, God doesn't want you to know about this, but I can supply it. And he's always got something like that for us. God will supply this for you, and you need it, and you can get it through me. And in my series on women in ministry, I'm going to make it real clear that I don't think when Eve said, he tempted me and I fell for it, I don't think that proves that all women are gullible and unfit for ministry. I think that proves that Eve, even though she'd had very little training, if any, was willing to be upfront and say the facts. He tempted me, I fell for it. She didn't try to blame anybody, didn't try to minimize it, didn't tell her whole life story, which may have only been this long, but I think that's good. If we would all do that with God and say, I was tempted, I fell for it. Instead of trying to blame other people. You see what I'm saying? I think she did good. I don't think it disqualifies her for anything. Yes, she was deceived, but at least she didn't go into, she did put fig leaves on. Well, we do that too. But a spirit of control came along. I'm hitting control twice here, by the way. Illegitimate control. Control came along because fear had come along, and fear said, now excuse me, I'm getting this all backwards. Shame came along. And shame said, you're defective. You're bad at the core. Something's wrong with you, rather than you're just guilty of doing this. See, shame says, you're bad. And then fear comes along and says, what if God finds out? Or what if they've been anybody else, what if people find out? So control says, we'll just control what they know about us so they won't find out. And a lot of us have been living here, where instead of just feeling like sometimes we do things wrong and we can ask forgiveness like these prayers are saying, and then it's done. We go to shame, and shame says you're defective, and fear says what if people find out, and then control says we'll just control how well they know us, or we'll control our environment, or whatever. We just do this. And we live in the stronghold. And I hope that today you're busting out of it. So I'm not going to be controlled by shame and fear anymore. It's okay to be me. It's okay to be en route. Don't have to already be at all my destinations. It's okay to be in process. And I don't have to control other people or rebel against them or feel rejected. You know when somebody rejects you, you don't have to receive it? That was news to me. You do not have to receive it. So there's a lot of strongholds. That's just an example of two. If you're into it and you want to get rid of more, we've got the course here on tearing down strongholds and how to do it, and it works. I love things that work. So are we ready to go on? If I ask you to picture something, first of all, I want you to know that one of the main powers that the devil has is the ability to project. I like what Henry says about this. The ability to project on this screen we've got in our minds, what if this? He puts it in Technicolor and stereophonic sound or whatever the best high definition thing is these days. And it's so real to us. What if this? But it hasn't happened yet. And it may never happen. But he's good at illusion. Making something look real that hasn't happened. And he can try to control us with these illusions that he projects. Because most of the things that we're all uptight about have not even happened. So if I ask you to picture the thing that has hurt you the worst, I'm not going to ask you to relive it. I'm not going to take you on some guided visualization or something, guided imagery. We're not going there, don't worry. But if you can even picture what it is, when you were betrayed or humiliated or something. See how vivid that picture is of what happened? Mark suggests here, Mark Verkler, that we can invite Jesus into that picture. Now, coming from a mental health background, I'm real careful about this. I don't suggest what Jesus would do, or could do, or should do, or what you can do, except I know that he wants to come into every area of our lives. I know that he's not a time creature, and it doesn't matter how long ago it was or how recent. And I know that Jesus wants to heal. He didn't go through that cruel death on the cross just to leave us the way we are. And that we can invite him into everything in our life that needs a touch. Everything. And I give people a choice of whether they want to go ahead and initiate and identify to Jesus what needs more of a touch. Because a lot of us have been healed in different areas in varying degrees. You know, some things have received more healing than others. And that's okay. Healing is a process. And we have areas that can receive more healing. And a lot of times they have everything to do with when we go back to our automatic reactions that I didn't mean to overreact to that person. Why did I do that? Why did I give them, this much discipline when their crime was only this big? It might be because it reminded us too much of something. But we can either tell Jesus, I need to see you in this situation. This picture keeps haunting me of what happened to me or should have happened to me. I need to see you there. And invite him in. And if we will ever take the time to sit down in his rest, he will meet us there. I absolutely guarantee it. Even if you haven't totally repented, yeah, because who has? We're all in progress. Or I give them the choice, if you would like to just invite Jesus to take you anywhere that he feels like you need more healing. Not feels, Jesus knows. Give him permission to take you anywhere. Even the back rooms of your heart where you don't go. He might take you to a real memory, or he might take you to something symbolic. Sometimes he takes people kind of on a ride that's something that's never happened before, but he's healing them all along the way. Healing their identity. For this, we might need a demonstration. If I'd have had longer, I'd done demonstrations for all of them. Is there anybody who would feel comfortable being the demo for this? That would like to believe God that he's going to highlight some area of their life for them that needs a touch, needs more healing or freedom. And then believe God that if you ask him for a fish, he won't give you a stone, and he's actually going to show you or tell you something about that area that will bring healing and freedom. We don't have to do a demo.
I think if you want to, something was revealed to me yesterday that manifested in my body.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you want to do that or not, but I had a injury, a back injury, and I've shared this with you before, but I went to the doctor yesterday. and a lot of it was a soft tissue injury in my back, and it's created a pain pattern. And he started, and we're talking, this happened 18 years ago. Is this what you want? But I mean, it was just really strange.
I can identify. I resemble this remark.
But you know, I've done like everything, and I'm doing real well. But then it's, you know, created. I've had some more problems recently. He thinks it's arthritic or whatever. But he started explaining to me his pain pattern. He said, you know, when you've had an injury, your body starts to. It's like a trauma, and your body starts to think that anything that comes close to it, anything that comes close to maybe hurting the area again, it's going to start this pain pattern. And I'm like, well, doesn't your body know that nothing's happening anymore? And this has been on for me for 18 years. And I've had a lot of, you know, real life with guys healed me a great deal. But it kind of, I think part of it, I realized emotionally, the whole situation when this happened and how it happened, it was kind of a fluke accident. And I blamed God. I blamed my body that it wasn't responding, you know, more normally, that it wasn't getting over it. You know, and it's kind of like, I believe God showed me that it wasn't just a physical injury, it was, you know, whatever, even going back further in my life, losing my father when I was 10, suddenly have a heart attack, just feeling that protection was taken off of me, that I felt like God didn't see this or God didn't care, or that I was completely vulnerable.
It's amazing how complicated these things
It does,
can get.
I mean, just
instead of just ow, it's all this other.
I'm like, you know, telling the doctor, well, why doesn't it, you know, because I have different medications, I'm like, why doesn't your body just know it's not going to happen anymore? It doesn't need any kind of slight little thing that aggravates it. It kind of overfires the pain, you know.
It goes into spasm when nothing's even happening.
Right. So, I mean, you know.
Did you all tell her to use this example?
I don't know. It just happened yesterday.
I've been dealing with this in case you don't know. Your muscles still remember and they overprotect.
Yeah, so it's
What do you say to do?
Well, he wants me to, you know, start taking anti-inflammatories for a couple weeks and exercise and stretch, all this kind of stuff. But to me, it's kind of, I'll do all those things, and you know, I've looked at it somewhere. But it's almost like God's telling me there's a deeper level of healing. If this is related to your emotions, or your spirit, or your life experiences, you need to do something about that, because you can keep getting shots, you can keep taking pills, you can keep going to chiropractors, or you can. If there's something emotional or spiritual there, then you can deal with that. So, this happened yesterday, and when he started talking about it,
it's a good example.
I was looking at that trauma, this whole trauma, will hurt trauma, expectation, hurt, belief interval, you know, kind of like, you know, even the doctors told me I'd never live without it. Never live without it.
I didn't hear that. I did not receive that.
But I don't
care what
receive it
they
either.
say.
I don't receive it either. But, you know, the bottom line is, I think it was, you know, I know you get into physical things, but it's a physical parallel. I've had emotional experiences in my life that are parallel to what happened.
Amen. Can you see that around your heart? There's these little muscles around your heart that are determined to protect it from now on, and they overreact. And they spaz out before anybody can even get to it. So what do?
So, we did that somewhere.
We pray seven prayers, right?
Absolutely.
Believe God for healing. We don't need to overprotect forever. Well, there's a picture. Does anybody else want to furnish one? Or the other option was to believe that you can invite Jesus to go anywhere He wants, and He will show you something that you're not even aware of what He's going to show you right now. Anybody want to do that? Don't have to?
She said she wanted
Well,
to.
Oh, you got another one.
That was it. That was it.
Okay,
So-
she's telling us the done deal. Okay, you've already done it, and
No.
Well, I
she
just,
wants to
actually,
go
it just
there.
came up,
to be your
I just was
Okay.
wondering, yeah, I mean, if there's something, yeah, sure.
Something deeper.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, I don't know, you know, I kind of know, but I don't really know.
oh, I want
Why?
you to come.
Okay,
Because I'm going to stand real close to
Okay.
you, and when the glory falls, I'm going to tell my muscles, cease and desist, enter into the rest. It's okay.
okay. Do you want me to go in front, or what? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay.
All right. You want to sit?
Sure.
Sit.
Yes.
Whatever your
Okay.
back likes. No.
Do you want music,
I'm good.
or do you not want music?
Doesn't matter. You
care.
want music?
No, I
I
want
want to go. I love the music, and by the time
Yeah.
I get about this far, I just forget.
Okay.
What do you want, Carla, by the way? Want music?
Yeah, let's put some music on just a little.
With no words?
Yeah, that would be good.
Hilda brought music with no words. Mark would let me have it if I used music with words. He doesn't want us directing people what to think. Well, I'm just going to believe.
It's the words, but it's familiar tunes that can.
Yeah, just instrumentals. Girls, you find yourself singing instead of picturing Jesus. And all we're doing is, we're not doing visualization, because in visualization I would suggest what Jesus would do, or where you should go, or what you should do. All I do in this is, yeah, I guess I do. I'm too conspicuous this way. All I do is I'm here. Sometimes this lasts 3 minutes, sometimes 3 hours. You'd be surprised. But I take notes so that the person will know what happened. And I forgot my other line. What is it? Oh, if you get stuck, I don't coach Jesus. If I do, he quits and goes home. He'll just stop, like, okay, when you get ready for me to be God, let me know, And I don't coach you. But if you get stuck and, like, say you're behind a wall of shame and you're afraid to come out and you're hiding from Jesus, and you've told me that much and I've been writing it down, I'll just say the obvious. What's obvious to me, not to her. She's probably in a little kid place or something. I'll just say you could give him the shame. And she'll go, oh yeah. See, I haven't brought up a new subject. Haven't given Jesus a job description or her. Or say he wants to go into a back room of your heart and you're like, and there's a little version of you that did it wrong back there that's like, no, don't let him in here. You'd be surprised what people see. It's all so similar. I hear all kinds of stories. But in the adult you says, oh no, we need to let him in here and we'll use him. Then you just give Jesus access to whatever it is. You'd be surprised what he does. He can figure it all out all by himself. So whether you care to pick something yourself, if you pick something yourself, then I encourage people to just pour out your heart like David did, like in, is it Psalm 142 or 42? He just poured out his heart to God. He would say, oh, they did this to me, and I want to do this to them, and I can't. Will you take care of them? And he just pours out his heart over and over. I encourage people, if you pick it, then go ahead and pour your heart out to God. Tell him every area that hurt you, how it intimidated you, how the other areas of your life it fixed. Just really pour it out as if you've got 30 minutes to get this healed and that's it, and whatever you don't mention doesn't get healed. I mean, really be open. Or you could say, Jesus, take me anywhere you want to take me. And all we ask of you, because we want to agree with you, is that you say everything out loud. Whatever you hear or see or feel, just say it all out loud and we'll go with you.
Okay. So, what do we start just talking about what happened or what?
Well, I encourage people to just invite Jesus to take them anywhere in their life that they know needs more healing or freedom. Is that work?
Okay. Yeah, I would say, I think part of this, having an injury that's kind of
Let me say one more thing. Don't talk to us, talk to him.
Okay.
That's what really makes it work. The whole interaction is with him. You can ignore us except that we're agreeing with you. Okay?
Okay. Father, I come to you right now, and this injury has plagued me for 19 years, and I thank you that you have given me a great deal of healing, but I believe there's more that you want to do. Lord, I know this has affected me physically, emotionally, created other issues in my life, and this whole thing that started when, after believing I was meant to go into this job for 3 years before I got it, back in 1987, and getting hurt on my first week at work with something that changed my life physically, emotionally, financially, in every area. And I just remember, Lord, that after this happened and I couldn't work for 3 months, that someone remarked, one of my mother's neighbors remarked, what a bad way to start a career. And this went on for 18 years. And Lord, those 18 years, despite the blessings, there were some rough times, and I was angry with you, and I was angry at the doctors for not treating me right to begin with, and all the residual effects that I had because of that, Lord. But I know you want me to forgive the doctors way back years ago, and I choose to do that. And I choose to believe that you did give me, you enabled me to continue to work, and you gave me, you provided in many different ways, Lord. But there's something that happened, I think, to me emotionally at that time that said to me that, maybe the enemy said to me that you will never, no matter what God gives you, I'll always take it away from you. I will always, it's like he said to me, he would always interfere with my life, that nothing good could ever come to me. He would frustrate the plans. And I think I was afraid of the enemy, Lord, and I ask that you forgive me for that, because I believe you are sovereign in my life, and I'm not a victim. I'm not, that everything is filtered through your hand, and that you do provide for your children, and you do give them more healing that's possible in the natural. Lord, I just remember all the years that I had difficulty with my company because of physical problems, and how angry I was with them, Lord. I do choose to forgive them. They were just maybe insensitively and trying to run the business. But Lord, I choose to forgive them now. Any anger that I was not supported more as I tried to deal with these things. And I also choose for blaming you for this happening, and I choose to forgive you for that, Lord. And I also, any kind of word curses that were spoken over my body that the doctor said you'll never live without pain, I ask those in Jesus' name, that those words would be proved false in Jesus' name. And break the power of these words over my life in Jesus' name. That particularly, Lord, that pain is telling us something, but my body has no need any longer to feel this pain. There's no threat anymore. There's no need to overprotect myself from any harm. And I think this actually goes back to the womb, when I think from experiences I felt rejected in the womb, that I was afraid. I knew that the situation I was going into was not a welcome situation, and there's part of me that just wants to protect myself from any kind of harm, any kind of threat. That really, when there isn't one, it's like it's fear, and it's fear that's manifested. And I believe it's fear and anger that's manifested in my body. Lord, I just ask that you break the power of fear and anger that's been manifested in my body. I do ask that you forgive me for not trusting you, and for being angry and fearful, Lord. That's not trusting you, Lord. But I just pray that you would break that power in my life, and
Thank you.
break that pattern of trauma, and that I know that I'm safe with you. Never, you are always watching over me, always. That I don't have to be afraid any longer of any harm, that everything is filtered through your hands, and you do watch over your children.
Okay. Now just invite Jesus to show you or tell you anything about that situation that he wants to. If you'll just give him freedom to show you or tell you, and even if you pause a little while, we'll just wait with you and believe that you will either see him or hear him addressing this.
I'm just thinking about the woman who touched the edge of his garment. All she said, if I just touch him, I will be healed. And obviously this woman had problems for years, and she was probably afraid that she wouldn't, maybe part of her thought, well, I can't ask him directly, but maybe if I touch him, his power will heal me. Lord, I believe that power is still active today, that that all I have to do is just reach out and open myself up to your power. I don't have to earn it. I don't have to. It's free for the asking, Lord, that as we invite your power to move in our lives, that you do heal all those places. As we open our lives, your power is all available, always. That all we have to do is open our lives to it and clear out any bitterness or resentment or unforgiveness or fear. That those things, as we clear those things out of our life, that you have more room to work in our lives.
And just fix your eyes on Jesus and see if he says or does anything.
I believe that he's right in front of me, and he knows what I've been through, and it's like he's putting his hands on my shoulders and my back and telling me to just continue to press into him and to receive his healing.
Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Jesus. Carla, I saw the same thing. So by way of confirmation, I saw him take his fingers, if you could picture an anatomy book and how all these muscles feed to the spine, and just raking out everything that he didn't put there, everything that's not you, that's not him, and he just raked it out. And I receive it too, and anybody else that wants some, there's enough to go around. Just raking out everything that's not him. You just take a deep breath and receive it. He's not a time creature. Whatever he does, he considers it a done deal. Thank you, Lord. I would not normally rush someone like this. I usually don't jump in this quick. I usually give them more time. But we have only an hour to go. Thank you. I appreciate that so much. I did meet Carla years before. We're not brand new to each other. She emails me, and I hope you all will too. It doesn't take that long for us to give each other a little encouragement with an email. That's the one thing that's really a perk about ministry instead of mental health, is you can be fired for really having a relationship with someone. God forbid. And this, we can be friends forever and ever and ever.
Amen.
Hallelujah. When some people do this, like I said, it may last 3 minutes, it may last 3 hours. Can't tell you any details. That's the really hard part about my job. But I did have a colonel in the Army, in case you think this is just for women, or women my age, worse yet, that stood in one place, never even shifted feet for 3 hours, seeing Jesus doing and telling him things. He had no idea it was that long. I had an idea because I was writing the whole time. My hand was like, I need healing. Jesus, please show up me in my head. But you never know. And I believe that it's like I used to say of my cat. I said he was not a lap cat. And I'm a very busy person, and back then was driven. And one day I sat down, and he jumped in my lap. And you know what God said? The cat had no lap to sit in. He's been a lap cat all along. And I believe that if we will be willing to set aside time to sit in God's lap, he will show up. But we're so afraid that he's going to show up. We're so afraid that he is going to stand us up, aren't we? That we don't take time. And that's why Mark teaches us to journal. And he's saying here, you can get healing through receiving divine pictures. We might as well admit to the negative picture that comes to our mind. If I mention public speaking, some of you will say, got it. The negative picture that comes to your mind when you're trying to give a book report or whatever and you were mortified. Or singing or whatever it is. For me it was softball. But The picture that comes to your mind, and the enemy was trying to convince you to believe it's never going to work out for you. And we can either go back to that picture and present it to Jesus, or we can just invite him. You can be proactive. And you can say, Jesus, I don't have a thing in my mind that needs healing. I know I need more growth and healing and maturity, but I don't know what it is. And just invite him to take you wherever he wants to take you next. It is fun to get healed of something before you get a chance to blow it again. This is good. It's worth you spending 30 minutes, an hour or more, just sitting down and saying, Jesus, tell me the next thing that you'd like to do in my life.